everybody, Scott here with the Trek Bicycle Store and ABC Bicycles, and today we are going to talk about the ABCs. This is a checklist that stands for air, brake, and chain, and it's a checklist that we recommend that you go over your bike every ride if you can. So we'll start right at it. A is for air. Bike tires, they do lose air pretty quickly, so you want to make sure that you're checking them constantly. Even bike tires in this store lose about 20% of their pressure within the first week or two. So you want to always make sure to keep on your air pressure. Having low air in your tires can cause pinch flats, a lot of other issues, and it's going to be more of a sluggish ride. So on the sidewall of each tire is going to be a specific range of tire pressure. Little trick, if you're having a hard time kind of finding it, if you take a little piece of chalk and kind of rub it on there, you'll be able to see that PSI a lot easier. So make sure to fill up your tires. While you're doing that, as a little kind of extra thing for this ABC video, right now it's the summertime here in Florida and we are experiencing a ton of rain, and it's not just if, but when you get stuck in the rain if you ride a lot in the summer. So make sure while you're checking your air pressure, just go ahead and check those tires too while you're at it. We want to make sure that there's just a decent amount of tread. Yet again, all tires are different. These are kind of a more low profile tire, but if you look here, you can still see that there's a defined tread pattern. It's not looking like there's any threads coming out. We just filled these tires up, and if you look at the sidewall, there's no cracking or anything like that showing dry rot. On road bike tires, it's a little different. We're gonna wanna take our thumb and kind of rub over the tread. If we feel that the tread is still smooth and round, or even has a little center ridge in it, it's perfect. If you start to put your thumb over the tire and it feels flat, or you start to see little pieces of thread showing through the rubber, that's a good time to bring your tire into the bike shop and have us take a little closer look at it. B is for brakes. So getting to your location is awesome, but stopping when you get there is equally as important. So we want to always check our brakes. One thing that we can do is we can take a look at our brake pads. So if we kind of pry this brake pad off, we'll see that there's little kind of notches in there. Want to make sure that those notches are still there. Also, depending on the model of the brake pad, if your pads just look really thin, or they start looking like they're showing cracks because they are rubber, make sure to bring them into a bike shop. We want to analyze them a little bit further, make sure that nothing's happening, because we don't want any issues with your brakes. Another little trick on the adjustment of the brakes is just rock your bike back and forth. If you can just grab your brakes and it stops pretty easily at about 50% throw of that lever, that's perfect. But if you're rocking that bike back and forth and your lever goes all the way to the handlebar, that's no bueno. Only imagine if you're riding with the weight of yourself on the bike, especially if you got caught in the rain and your hands are going all the way to your handlebar, that's meaning that you're not getting a lot of braking power there. So we want to make sure that your brakes get professionally adjusted. So make sure to bring it into the shop and we can evaluate it. Third thing is chain. Chains, oh my gosh, I've heard a million theories on chains. This is the one that works best for me though. Since you already have your thumb a little dirty there from rubbing the tire, go ahead and just rub it on the chain real quick. If it feels really oily and you see kind of how black my thumb is, that means the chain might be a little over oiled. So we want to go ahead and take an old rag and just wipe some of that excess lube off. Excess lube is going to cause a few problems. It's going to cause a buildup in your components. It's also going to attract a lot of different contaminants into your bike, which can cause more friction, which thusly causes more wear. Another thing to feel is if it just feels dry, we want to add a little bit of lubricant. We like to let it sit in there for a little bit and then wipe off the excess. And then the third thing is if you feel the chain and it's just tacky, oh my gosh, leave it there, don't touch it, it is absolutely perfect. Another little tip is if you are finding yourself getting caught in a lot of rainstorms, or if you're going on that epic road trip where your bikes are behind your car on a bike rack and they might get caught in the rain, this is a great lube for you during the summer months. This is our wet conditions lube. It works really, really well for wet conditions. It's a little bit thicker. It's almost the consistency of a motor oil. It's really, really thick. You do not want to use this in dry conditions because it's going to attract a ton of moisture or a ton of like contaminants, but definitely use this in the wet. It's going to repel that moisture. Really good thing. Plus, a little pro tip, if you ever do get caught out in the rain, make sure whatever lube you have in the house, that's a chain lube, just make sure to drop some on your chain. It's gonna help repel that water out of your chain, keeping it fresh, keeping it well lubricated, and getting that water out of there to prevent corrosion. Anyways, this is Scott with the Trek Store. We covered the air and the tire tread. We also covered your brakes and the chain. If you have any more questions, drop us a comment, send us a message, or you can just come into the bike store and ask us as well at the Trek Store or ABC Bicycles. Thank you so much for watching. Have an excellent day.